if you're looking at, maybe it's a career decision at the moment, maybe you're not even sure what you're chasing, but you're finding yourself in certain patterns or gravitating towards certain environments, question, what is it actually you're after? What is it you are trying to move towards? I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Here in Australia this week, it's player trade silly season, I guess you'd call it. The NRL's hit the November 1 deadline when players can be negotiated with for 2026. Crazy, but anyway, that's the rule. So there's, clubs scrambling to sign the next players, other clubs trying to retain players, and then of course some dominoes fall and other players become available, which happens every year. The AFL's got their draft on, so players start trading draft picks. They start making trade deals. I guess if you're living in another country, it might be, I think NFL, NBA have similar periods. The football has the transfer windows where it all happens. And one of the things that I've observed over years of watching it, particularly in my favourite sport, the NRL, is watching some of those players chase the money and then end up not particularly happy with how it all pans out. What's even more interesting is how many of those footballers end up without any of the money or very little of the money and having to go back out to the workforce, very little of the money that they earned from chasing those dollars. I can think of one footballer in particular, he's going back probably 20, 25 years ago. He did the whole circus. It was like very well documented, flying around to the three main cities that were in the league at the time, chasing the biggest paycheck, and ended up going for the biggest paycheck. Left a club that went on to bigger and better things and won premierships. And I'm wondering if that particular player looks back on that with regret, whether they think, did I make the right decision? Because I know their financial situation and they're needing to work, and then they're not. I'm sure they did some really good things with that money, but they didn't necessarily invest it in the right place to set themselves up so that they could have chosen their career in any space later. They're having to find work. And so the lesson for us is, it's not, whoops, iPad just went off. The lesson for us is when we are chasing whatever the next thing that we're chasing is it the right thing? What's it actually going to mean for us in the long term? So I know for me in my career, for a long time, I was chasing dollars and I was getting frustrated, and I was like, okay, what other opportunities are there? The reality is what I was missing was an environment where I felt connected, where I felt supported, where I felt validated, where I had freedom, where I had some level of autonomy, where I was felt empowered, and that was independent of the money. Now, what's interesting is when you make changes to create an environment like that, or to move to another environment, the money takes care of itself. And thinking about that particular player that I was referencing before, if they'd stayed where they were and they'd gone on to win more premierships and had more success because they were in a good team and played more representative football, and then maybe got opportunities after they finished their career, then the money would have taken care of itself. Instead, they went to a club that was struggling. They kind of stopped getting picked for rep teams, jumped around a few different places, still well regarded, but just, I'm sure, could have got so much more if they stayed where they were. And this happens all the time. People chasing the wrong thing in sport and also in life. So it's about getting really clear on what it is that you're actually after. If it is money and in career, you're wanting to earn more money, what is it that the money will give you? And then when you work out what that is, and it doesn't feel purposeful, it's like, well, what is that thing that the money's going to give you? What does that give you? And keep asking that question until you land to a place where it feels good to be actually going after that thing, where it feels sustainable, where it feels like actually that's going to fulfill me long after my career's finished. And you might even get to the point where I'm at, which is I don't see my career finishing. I will continue to do what I do in some capacity for the rest of my days, as long as I'm capable, because it gives me such fulfillment. It gives me such sense of purpose, get so much satisfaction from helping people. So there's a selfish element to what I do, but that's okay because I'm doing it in a way that is aligned to who I am, the sort of person I am, to what I want to do. I'm surrounding myself with environments that also align to that. The results tend to take care of themselves. So if you're looking at, maybe it's a career decision at the moment, maybe you're not even sure what you're chasing, but you're finding yourself in certain patterns or gravitating towards certain environments, question, what is it actually you're after? What is it you are trying to move towards? And just keep asking that question of like, well, when I get that, well, what will that give me? Is that going to make me happy? Is that going to fulfill me? And I tell you, there's so much evidence out there from people who have thought that once they got that next bit of money that everything would be fine. It didn't solve the problem. It actually exacerbated the problem. I was thinking about, I think it was what sport was it? Might have been a cricketer I was listening to. And they were talking about, I just needed to reach that next level. Just need to reach that next level. And I thought that'd solve all the problems, but it doesn't. Challenges are still going to come. But if you're feeling that you are in a place where it suits who you are, whether we're getting joy from the experience, where you're surrounding yourself with the sort of people that you'd like to be with, that you feel like you are being valued, that's a huge one, then you find yourself in the right place. You're going to get so much more out of life than just purely chasing a particular target that's might be narrowly focused. You know, it doesn't mean you have to spend your whole life thinking about the future. But when you're making these sort of decisions and when you're looking at what you're working towards, well, where is it heading? To what end? Take the time to do a assessment of what you're trying to work towards. Is it the right thing for you? Does it feel good when you think about what that future looks like beyond just the material things? Because they can make you happy if you haven't got the other stuff sorted out. The guy I had on the old podcast, he described that exact thing. He worked his ass off to earn millions and millions. He was more miserable than before. Granted, money gives you choices and money creates opportunities. But what he learned was that unless you address whatever needs to be addressed to make sure you are heading in the right direction of what's going to be for your highest good in terms of health, wellness, happiness, fulfillment, purpose, then it's not going to be the right thing. Something for you to ponder. See you on the next episode. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.